Hello there, and welcome to the Never Daily Show. I'm your host, Edward, and I am here with my guests, Francisco and Tommy. Say hi, guys.
What's up?
Hi.
So, today we're going to be talking about the high school social life and the cliques which reside within it. According to ABC News, 160,000 students avoid going to school because of the bullying done by cliques. What do you guys think about that?
Wow, that's a big number for 160,000, really.
Yeah, that's unexpected. Actually, no.
I could see
understand
I
that,
could
yeah.
see that why people are intimidated. Though so many cliques. I mean, when you're not part of one, it just feels ostracizing. Like, you get what I'm saying?
So do you think maybe the bullying is due to being outside of the clique, and you feel like you're not part of it, or do you think the bullying is actually direct?
I'm thinking it's probably either you're not part of a clique, or your clique is just not like the popular clique. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but I feel like it's like a pack mentality. Yeah, like, there's groups in the schools, and people. You're not in my group, so why should I talk to you?
Yeah.
You're not one of us.
Well, I mean, what cons are there to being in a clique, if you put it that way?
Well, it separates, like, in divisions. It divides people in schools and makes.
So, I mean, going on that, do you think clique should be a common thing, a cultural thing with high schools, or do you think, a clique should only be a sort of friends kind of thing? Is it something that should really reside within the high school setting?
It's something that will be in the high school setting regardless of
Yes,
whatever you do.
yes.
It'll be there regardless. It's in the world. You know how we form nations. There's Russia. There's China. There's
Yeah, I
the
think
same
it's just it's like a natural human thing to bond with people that you think are like similar to you, and I
Right.
think that's what cliques are. It's just sometimes it ends up going beyond that.
I mean, it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just something that happens. It's
Right.
just human nature. Yeah, like
Mhm.
Thomas.
So you would say that like a clique is just a group of people you find interest with, and if it is that, why do you think these people feel offended or bullied by these cliques? Is it, like we said, is it just you feeling kind of isolated, or is it the fact that you're trying to fit in and they don't let you?
Well, going back to the thing, we seek people that are the same, and anybody that's we view as not the same, well, we ostracize them. Also, say we don't want them part of us.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it's just like it's like a natural human instinct to find people who you feel comfortable with, and everyone who makes you feel uncomfortable or who is different than you, quote unquote. They're just like kind of like your enemies. It's like that survival kind of instinct. You know what I mean?
And
Yeah,
us
yeah.
as high schoolers, of course, we sort of have a better feeling of what kind of cliques there are. Here on BuzzFeed, we have an article in which they state the different classes of cliques that they have, I guess you can call them. So the first one we're going to start off with is bros. They're the kind of people that you love to hate, but they're the ones that throw parties at school. That's their description. Do you guys have experience with these kind of people at your school?
In my school, personally, there isn't a group of them, but there's individuals, bros that
Yeah.
they're the loud guys.
Yeah,
they're,
yeah.
they're the ones always.
How I like to say, I don't know if this is racist or not. I don't know if I should be saying this.
Canadian
You can
guy.
go ahead. I
I'm
mean, it's
okay.
our podcast, so
True,
it doesn't really
I'm
matter.
gonna say like okay. How I see it is like they're the white guys that like want to be black. Do you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
They wear
yeah.
like the wife beaters. They like wear their
Mhm.
hat like skewed sideways and whatnot.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Like
I
those
agree.
kind of people who like take it to the next level just to try to be cool,
Mhm.
and then they're just offensive, in a social way. We're gonna move on to the second class here. The stoners. You guys.
Oh,
The
yeah,
stoners,
of
that
course,
is
of
ever
course.
present in any society.
Yeah, that's probably been around for like ages. You know?
Yeah,
yeah,
It's
it's
always
I mean, you'd hear stories of people sitting in the corner of the room and like they're like smoking out, and the teacher wouldn't even notice them, and then like 5 minutes later, it's like, is that a skunk? I've heard stories like that in my classes.
You hear the stories, but
Yeah.
I never have because you've seen them. Like it's like a unicorn. I hear about them all the time, but where are they?
I've seen them plenty.
Oh, well.
Well, the thing is with stoners, I usually don't see them in a clique.
Oh,
I see them as
they're-
individuals.
They're
Yeah,
individuals,
yeah.
like
They go off by themselves. I mean,
Right.
like, but occasionally, I don't know if this counts as like a stoner. Like, there's a group of guys that like come together and they like, I don't know, like hotbox, but they're not stoners, right? They don't do like all the time.
No, but they're like people who just kind of come together. So
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
would
they're
that
just
be a
kind of-
clique, like casual
Yeah,
stoner?
I-
Is that a thing?
Casual stoner. It's like a sub click.
Click yay or nay? Nay.
I don't think it's.
Nay, I'm going with
I
a
don't-
nay
I
on
don't
stoner.
Think, yeah, I don't think it's.
I think
Nay,
stoners
okay.
are kind of individual,
Yeah,
reserved people.
yeah.
We're gonna move on to the next one, which is hardcore anime lovers. I do have.
Well, I
experience with
have
these
seen
people.
those.
Yes.
They are not that rare.
There, I mean, at our school, at least, we have groups of people who really do hang around each other and have like collectibles, and they dress up and they go to Comic-Con. I've heard of these people, and they have clubs and everything just dedicated to anime.
Well, what about your school, Tom?
To me, I've never actually seen those. Like I've heard about them. I know they exist. I don't really have that in my school. We have like the group of kids that like anime, but they don't like dress up and do cosplay.
Right.
Like in our school, like they take it too far. They cosplay this class
Oh
sometimes.
my god.
Like, they wear those ears
That's
and
so
like,
intense.
I mean, I like it. I like anime too, but let's not go that far.
Yeah,
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna put on
yeah.
That's super intense.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next section here. Hipsters. Do you guys have experience with hipsters?
I've seen hipsters, but never groups. I think they're too cool for groups.
Hipsters.
I think so too. I think those kind of people. They're trying to be individuals, and that's the whole point of being a hipster. You're trying to say, "Hey, I was here first," kind of thing. So fitting into a group of people who say, "I was here first," kind of wouldn't work.
It's like contradictory to
Yeah.
the term of hipster.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to the next one here. Intellectuals who are actually cool kids. So we're talking about people who are like insanely beautiful people, but they're super smart, and they portray themselves to be, part of the cool popular kid crowd.
So these are the ones that are smart, but they act like they're dumb.
Yeah,
Which-
kind of thing.
I have never seen those. No.
I actually have met a few of them that like you talk to them, and they are a completely different person than they set themselves to be.
Yeah, like you talk to them 101 and they're
Yeah.
just, like they're super super nice. They like articulate very well, but then like you see them in a group of their friends and they're going wild.
Right.
Going on.
Going on, yes. We're going to go on to the next one, which would be athletes, or in other words, jocks.
The jock.
Oh, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Of
That's
course.
like
That's
it's
like-
like general in
So-
any school.
It's almost as like common as a stoner. like
And they're,
Right.
They're there, man.
So would you say that these jocks are actually like a clique? Because everything that we've mentioned so far, we've only said that maybe one was a clique that had a possibility of being a clique, which was the anime one, as far as I remember. So being a jock, do you guys, or talking about jocks, do you guys think that they could be a clique?
Oh, of course.
I
They're a
definitely
clique.
think
They
so.
are a clique.
all the athletes hang out with all the other athletes. Like it's just like they take the team and then they bring it out. You know what I mean? From the field. Or whatever.
Right. They take it into the school and they bring it into the
Not my
social
favorite.
aspect. We're gonna move on to our last little section here for this part of the podcast. The techies.
No, never seen one.
I've got some techies at my school.
You think they'd be like? Are they part of a clique or are they individuals?
Nah, I think they're definitely a clique. They're like the ones that like play like computer games at like lunch. And
Yeah.
Right.
Together.
Yeah.
Of course.
They do like LAN tournaments or something like that. Okay. Right now that we're talking about these cliques, and we're starting to see that there are individuals and there are groups of people now. There's a distinguishing part. Even though we have classes and we designate people to those classes, there are still differences in being a clique and being labeled as a person under a class. So, do you guys think that cliques move on after high school?
Ooh, that's a question.
You want to take this one first?
Oh, let me
Go
think
ahead,
about.
Francis.
Let me think about this. This is a really hard question. Like, maybe so, because like, these cliques define who we are in high school and develops mentality.
Well, I see the way I think about it, or the way I perceive this situation is you form a clique in high school because you want to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
You want to relate to somebody in high school. You feel like you want to be a part of something. But in some ways, from what I've heard, from what I've asked college students, they enjoy the feeling of being independent, of having themselves to rely on for this kind of social acceptance. So cliques doesn't really make sense when you think after high school. And of course, we're talking about college. We're not talking about dropping out of high school. We're talking about moving on to college. So the individual feeling that a lot of people enjoy, I think, would be ruined if you were to force yourself to be in a clique.
I think it's more like not that cliques don't exist. I don't know. Personally, I don't have a problem with cliques. There is a time when I don't know, like when they do clash, right, and it's not that great. But to me, cliques are more just like I said before, like your common group of friends. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like who you feel comfortable with, and I'm sure that carries on beyond high school. It's probably just when you get out of high school and you start growing up, you mature a little, and then you think, oh, when we were fighting with like our group with that other group, that was immature of us, and that was kind of pointless. So I feel like that aspect of the clique goes down, but I'm sure they still exist.
Well, I view it as a safety mechanism. Like, how you were saying, you feel comfortable with these people. Yeah, you feel very comfortable with them. But right now it's high school. We're young. We don't really know what we want. We just looking to have fun. These are people we're comfortable with. They make us laugh, and we stick with them because it's safe. But later on, we start getting to know ourselves a bit more and go out into the world, and we know what we want. And might not be the same thing as a people in a group want. So we start going individual, where like Edward said, and we go on our own.
Right. So you feel, Francisco, that the clique falls apart not because you necessarily want it to fall apart or necessarily believe that you don't want to be part of that group, but more along the lines of you wanting to mature and finding yourself and finding the differences between you and that person. And then Tommy, you mentioned that when you mature, the lines start to get blurred between groups. It starts to become less of a confrontation and you start accepting people. So is that really your guys' perspective on this?
Yeah.
Final answer.
All right. Well, that's, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up this podcast. I was your host, Edward. I got my two companions here, Francisco and Tommy. Thank you very much for being on here.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys again never.